You're listening to Systemic Error Podcast. The failure was designed.
Mitch McConnell rumors take a turn as MAGA commentator claims he's talking based on an article by Alexander Willis. Mitch McConnell's health is not the story. The cover-up is. The real power is in the silence. The source story is simple on its face. Scott Jennings says he spoke with Mitch McConnell for nearly 20 minutes. McConnell's office says he is still recovering. Skeptics say the claim does not pass the smell test. That is the surface. The real political fact is that an 84-year-old senator who was found unconscious at home and administered CPR is being handled as a communications problem, not a matter of public accountability. That is where the power sits, with McConnell's office, Senate leadership, and the media ecosystem willing to treat controlled ambiguity as normal governance. A hospital stay turned into a message operation. McConnell's office has released few details, according to the source. That is not an accident. It is the point. The office is not informing the public so much as rationing information, keeping the story vague enough to preserve institutional continuity while refusing the transparency that would let voters judge what is actually happening. Jennings' post reads less like a report than a message sent into a vacuum. It tries to manufacture reassurance through proximity and insider tone. But that is exactly how leak concealment works. If you cannot produce evidence, produce access. If you cannot show the senator, show the people who claim they spoke to him. The skepticism is not the scandal. The pushback in the source comes from predictable corners, a MAGA figure tied to the Jan. 6 rally, Democratic strategists, and medical skepticism from a speech-language pathologist. Their doubt may be warranted, but the deeper point is that the political system has created a space where rumor becomes the only available instrument of accountability. That is what happens when public officials hide behind staff, spokespeople, and carefully managed statements. The issue is not that people are speculating. The issue is that the institution has made speculation necessary. Senate incapacity is treated like a branding problem. This is the standard corrosion of American power. Entrenched officials remain in place. Health becomes a private branding exercise, and staffers are left to preserve the fiction that nothing essential has changed. The source notes that McConnell has not been seen publicly since mid-June. That is not a trivia item. It is a governing condition. And yet the entire political conversation is being steered toward whether Jennings' 20-minute call actually happened, rather than what the absence of basic disclosure says about Senate power. The public is asked to debate a credibility contest while the office in question continues to withhold the underlying facts. The larger pattern. The pattern is familiar. Institutions withhold information, then act offended when people distrust them. Power creates opacity, and opacity breeds a market for denials, performative insider claims, and partisan rumor. The result is not confusion by accident. It is confusion as management. This story is about more than one senator's health. It shows a political class that expects deference even while refusing accountability, and a media environment that often rewards the performance of access over the disclosure of truth. In that sense, the scandal is not that people do not know what is happening. The scandal is that the people with power have decided they do not owe the public an answer. You've been listening to Systemic Error. Thanks to Raw Story for today's article, with the automated voice of Joe. Thanks for listening.